Hello, and thank you for tuning in to part two of God's amazing grace. I shared yesterday how meaningful grace is to the world by briefly speaking about the influence that it had on the life of John Newton, who penned the words amazing grace, and also William Wilberforce, who was influenced by John Newton and who sang that song Amazing Grace, legend has it, to the English Parliamentary House. Also, William Wilberforce, I shared yesterday, was a driving force behind the abolishment of slavery in the United States, and I shared the impact that that had on the world. And whenever there's been a world transformation, or let me say reformation, as far as relationship with God is concerned, or you can call it Christianity, it's always been because people have begun to understand the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ. When you speak about God's grace, it really is central to the message that Jesus came and brought, that He died for, essentially. This is what the book of Galatians says. He says, Paul says to the Galatians, Galatian church, they had suffered strong rebuke from Paul simply because they came away from an attitude or a mindset of understanding and knowing and operating in the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, to where people had come in and influenced them, and they were saying to them, yes, okay, you are saved by grace, but it's also what you do that helps you, that blesses you, that strengthens you. I'm not saying we don't have a part to play, and perhaps in the later parts I will share what our part is. There is a definite part for us to play as believers. But everything that we base our faith on really is based on the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ. And this is what Paul says to the Galatian church. He says to them, I marvel that you are so soon removed from the grace of Christ unto another gospel. And he carries on in the next verse to say, which is yet not another. That means anything outside of the grace of Christ is not the gospel. And we need to understand this as we preach the message of God, the message of the gospel. The gospel is essentially and is only about the grace of Christ. Anything outside of the grace of Christ is not the gospel. The way Paul writes it in Galatians 2 is that if you were to take the words grace of Christ and the word gospel, you could use it interchangeably in that sentence. And he carries on to say in the next sentence that anything outside, or the next verse, that anything outside of the grace of Christ is not the gospel. It's not the gospel at all. He says you've gone to another gospel, which is yet not another. So there is no other gospel outside of the grace of Christ. God bless you. Look out for part 3.